So in this video, of course, I'll be talking about that time I got reincarnated as a slime again. I want to kind of talk about some stuff that I spoke about previously, but also want to talk about season 3. And the reason why I love slime as a series is because I love the characters. I love the world. I love Rimuru, as I like to always call him, Rimi for short. Apparently that nickname some people love, some people hate, but it's just a nice short endearing name. And then of course characters like Diablo. I absolutely love Diablo. I've gushed over him during season 2 when he got introduced, and I was so happy with him being introduced because he's just so much fun. And then seeing him in the movie as well, which is not part of the light novel series. I love what the movie tried to do, but the movie got a lot of controversy. Some people loved it, some people really hated it. And that's the thing, Slime as a series is one of those where you either love it or you hate it, which is kind of funny because I'm neither of those. I love and hate some aspects of it. I love more of it than I hate it. And what I mean by I hate it is that there are some things that I don't like. And I spoke about that in the last video, but apparently that triggered some kids that can't take any form of criticism. And that is another issue as well when it comes to the anime community, and one of the reasons why most content creators have turned into nothing more than cardboard cutouts that have no actual personality is because most content creators are too scared to have an opinion now, because most parts of the anime community can't take any form of criticism without having an aneurysm or a mental breakdown, because their emotions are paper thin. And this is the thing about Slime. I love the politics in it, especially in Season 3. Season 3's pacing is a lot better, in my opinion, than the pacing in Season 2. Season 1's pacing was much more faster, and I think the reason for that was that it was never intended to actually really get a Season 2. I think Season 1 was mainly a source material seller, its main objective, but because it did so well, they then decided, oh, we're going to do a Season 2. But because of how fast the pacing was in Season 1, in Season 2 they had to go back and cover the stuff that the anime skipped over, which slowed the pacing down. Then you also had the recap parts in there, which I criticized because I felt like they didn't need to go so heavy on the recapping and the exposition dumping of what their plans were. I prefer a show don't tell when it comes to anime, because if you're just going to sit there and talk about what you're planning to do and what you have done, even though it's already shown what's already done, then you might as well make that as like an OVA recap episode that you could skip. But instead they made it as part of the main story. That apparently triggered a lot of people, me dare criticizing Slime, and that's what I mean by you're not allowed to have any fair criticism. I loved the ending part for the big fight with Clayman, but I will say there was a lot of recapping and a lot of exposition dumping, and then when it got to the fight just felt so quick, which kind of saddened me because I love these fight scenes when it comes to Rimuru, because of the fact that it's not just about him fighting, but it also is other characters as well, showing their strengths, showing their moves, and all these new powers that they gain, and how they one-up each other. That's the thing I love about Slime. The politics, when it's done at a nice pacing. Now we've moved in from Season 2 to Season 3, and the pacing is much more different than Season 2 already. I've noticed the difference. Though there are some things that I've noticed when it comes to animations and how they've drawn a lot of things. There's some things that are noticeable, but I might get into that to another video when I've seen a couple more episodes to see the full context of it. But I've noticed a couple of things. But the pacing already is much more different, and I think that is because their intentions are much more clearer now, instead of Season 1 just being mainly a source material setter and Season 2 playing the catch-up game because of the profitability. Season 3 is very much in this mindset of, okay, we're going for the long haul, we're doing a full adaptation of this series. Well, that's what I think they're intending to do, and they're going at it paced properly now. They're going, okay, we're not going to skip anything, we don't need to backtrack through anything, we're going to go through it slowly and carefully and build the world, build the characters, and make sure everything's done properly the first time. So I think Season 3's pacing is far better than Season 2's. That's just my opinion. Again, it's an opinion. I'm stating it as a fact. I'm just saying it as an opinion. I'm sure I will get some comments where people say, how dare you have an opinion? I'm going to state the fact here that it is intro. Again, if you do that, I'm just going to ignore you. And 9 times out of 10, you're just going to probably get thrown into the naughty corner. I'm already loving the characters that are... And I mean, I've read the light novel, so I know what's getting introduced, but I love how they're introducing the characters, how they're showcasing them, the way they're dropping some of the backstory, some of the building. And the things that I always love about Slime is when you have those political moments where you have, like, the enemies kind of, like, sitting there conspiring. They're like, oh, yeah, we're not going to pay these reparations. We're going to fight against it. And then someone barges in and goes, oh, by the way, Rimuru is now a demon lord. Huh? Oh, by the way, this other country's supporting Rimuru. Huh? Oh, by the way, you know those demon lords that you were just about thinking of getting to turn against Rimuru? He defeated one of those and the rest have all accepted him. Huh? And then it's just this mind-blowing situation where they're like freaking out. They're like, oh my god, we can't do anything. But this is the other thing that I love about Slime is Diablo. Diablo is his mastermind. He plans all these things out, all these little intrigues and political games and puppeteering. That I absolutely love. I just don't like when it goes into endless exposition dumping and drawing things out, which I spoke about in the last video. I spoke about some parts in the light novels where they explain things that are unnecessary. And I went into detail in that video of what I had a problem with when it came to exposition dumping. But someone in the comments was like telling me how I was wrong, but never explained how I was wrong, just said that I was wrong. If that's what you're going to do, I'm just going to roll my eyes, because at that point you're not actually having a discussion on why you disagree. You're just basically going, I don't like your opinion. And that's it. You've not said anything of intrinsic value, which loses any care that I have. The reason why I've loved the anime, and even the manga does it quite well as well, is that the pacing is much more better now, in my opinion, compared to some of that exposition. And I'm really excited for season 3, because this is also another criticism I have. And I know I'm kind of criticizing things, but I'm trying to weigh up the positives and the negatives here. Because one of the things about Slime is it is a slow cooker. It is like a piece of fine wine. It gets better as it ages, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Because one of the most annoying criticisms that comes from anime fans is when you say to a series, hey, this is wrong. And then they go, oh, but it gets better. It gets better. Like, when does it get better? Oh, season 3 it gets better. Season 4 it gets better. And it's like, okay, that's not a good way of defending a series. If I've got to watch 5 to 6 cores of a series and be up to episode 50 before something gets better, that's not a good criticism. And as I mentioned before, I have read the light novel, so I knew, and I know this is all coming up. But personally, I actually like season 1. I actually think season 1 is really good. It's just, as I said, season 2 was a little bit messy because it had to play backtracking as from an anime perspective. Light novel is a very different perspective, because I feel like the light novel experience to the anime experience is very different. And even the manga experience is even different again compared to the light novel experience. And I think that's good. I think that's good that there's a bit of a different experience. And I'm not meaning different experience in the sense of the story changing. I'm talking about how it's presented, how it's paced, how it's showing all the characters. That's what I mean by it feels different. Not that the story is different in a sense. Like how, like, The Eminence and Shadow, where the story in each different form of media is actually different and has different story points. The story is the same in Slime. It's just, it's presented in a different way, which I think is good, because it allows people to consume the media in different ways, which is, I think, why the mangas are doing so well as well alongside with the light novels, because those that like the light novel format have it, those that like the manga format have it, and the anime format is there as well. But as I mentioned, if you're going to sit there and say that the series gets better after 50 episodes and that's your defense for a series having some bad moments, that's not good. Not that I actually think that that excuse needs to be used for Slime, because I think Slime's good from start to finish. I just had some issues with pacing, that was it. It wasn't like I was saying the entire story is terrible. No, I love the beginning of the story for Slime, because one of the things I love about Slime at the beginning is Rimuru building his powers up and him establishing friendships and establishing the town itself. Like, the beginnings felt very nice, because it feels very simple, very humble, and it just feels very calming. But then as things go up, the chaos kind of builds up. It's like a video game where it starts off as a tutorial and you feel all cozy and nice and good and you're going through the story and like, oh, this is easy going. And then it's like, oh, you're out of the beginner, we're going into level 2. Things get a bit more complex. There's more countries, there's more entities, there's more powers, there's more layers to the story. And now I would say we're entering probably level 3 at this point. I think each season is its own level. Maybe a little bit of level 4 because things are starting to pick up a little bit faster now because of what is to come. And I'm not going to spoil what is to come, but this is where things really do start to heat up. And I do agree, I think the story does get better as it goes on. Slime as a series is a slow cooker. It gets better as it goes on, but I don't think it's one of those where it's like, oh, it becomes good after 50 episodes. No, it's always been good, it just becomes even better. But I don't think Slime is for everyone. That is something that I think needs to be understood by the slime community. This series is not for everyone. And that's the case with every anime, in my opinion. Every light novel, manga, anime, game, any form of media. It's not for everyone. But I think one of the problems with the slime community is they think that their series is perfect in every way and that everyone should be able to enjoy it. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you. Not everyone's going to enjoy Slime. Slime is one of those series where you've got to like certain aspects of the story, like the economics, like Spice and Wolf. I don't think Spice and Wolf is going to be for everyone because it's economics heavy, very economics heavy. It's like capitalism in like hyperactive. It's really good. I love economics, but it's not for everyone. Slime is the same. It's heavy politics, heavy power fantasy, heavy economics as well, because there's a lot of trades, negotiations. It's all part of the politics. It's not just politics in the sense of I stab your back, you stab their back, oh, I kill them, we go to war. It also has economics, production lines, roads. They're talking about trades and roads and all that kind of stuff in this recent episode. That's part of economics, trade routes. They're building and establishing ties with other countries by building roads. By building roads, it allows for countries to share resources and knowledge are much more better. Rimuru is thinking ahead. That's some of the things that some people just don't enjoy about Slime. I love that. I just don't want to spend 4 or 5 episodes going over something that's not relevant. Like, it's just repeating itself. Which is funny because a lot of people complain at me about repeating myself in videos, and yet they're okay with that in an anime. So, hey, I love Slime. Don't get the pitchforks, okay, kids? I'm just saying, there are things I like, some things I don't. I'm just giving my honest opinion. In this channel, I give my opinion. I'm not like the rest where they're too scared to say things. Not all channels. There are many channels that do give their own opinions, but there are a lot of channels that are too scared to give their own opinions now. Many that have changed their ways because they're too scared of getting attacked. So I don't really care. I look forward to people's opinions. Keep it civil. Keep it chill. I'm still debating on if I'm going to pump out some of the light novel reviews that I did way back and continue reading the light novels, because I am a little bit behind on the light novels. I do want to catch up on them, but reading the light novels takes me a lot of time because they're quite thick and meaty. That's the thing, they are quite meaty volumes, and I do want to get back into them, but it can take me a bit of time to get through them. The last volume took me a month to get through, which I never reviewed, and I have to read it again. Yay! So, tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Check out my light novel reviews as I upload them, or re-upload them. And again, if you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.